Soo-jung and Gong Yoo's late-blooming love story, a silent miracle that shook Korea. The morning that shook Korean entertainment. It was a quiet morning in Seoul when the entire Korean entertainment industry froze. At precisely 7 a.m., Soo-jung's agency released an unexpected press statement, one that no one, not even her most devoted fans, had ever anticipated. Actress Soo-jung will be getting married later this year. The statement read, simple, elegant, and earth-shattering. Within minutes, the announcement became the #1 trending topic across Naver, Dom, and every Korean social media platform. News anchors scrambled to verify details, while fans across the world refreshed their feeds in disbelief. For over 2 decades, Soo-jung had been one of the most private and mysterious actresses in Korea, admired not only for her timeless beauty but for her ability to stay clear of any dating rumors. She was known as the Eternal Pure Actress, a title that came with both reverence and loneliness. So when the news of her marriage surfaced, it felt like a scene straight out of a romance film, one written, perhaps, by destiny itself. 2. Her heartfelt letter to fans. Only hours after the initial statement, Soo-jung personally posted a handwritten letter on her official fan cafe. The image of the delicate handwriting, graceful, steady, and filled with emotion, quickly went viral. She began softly. Life is longer than we imagine, and love sometimes arrives when we least expect it. In her letter, she expressed quiet gratitude and gentle joy. She said she had finally met someone with whom she wished to share the rest of her life, someone who understood not just her work, but her silences, her stillness, and her way of being. Her words moved millions. Fans flooded social media with tears, heart emojis, and messages of pure celebration. Comments poured in from all over the world. She deserves this happiness. Finally, our Soo-jung has found real love. It feels like watching the ending of a beautiful film. But amid the celebration, one question echoed everywhere. Who was the man who won Soo-jung's heart? 3. The mystery groom's identity revealed. For several tense hours, the public speculated wildly. Some believed it must be a non-celebrity, perhaps an artist or a filmmaker. Others whispered that it could be a veteran actor, someone who shared her quiet temperament. Then, in an afternoon press briefing, a name was spoken, and the room fell silent. The groom-to-be is none other than actor Gong Yoo. Gasps rippled through the press hall. Even the reporters, accustomed to shock, couldn't contain their astonishment. Gong Yoo, the beloved star of Train to Busan, Goblin, and Coffee Prince, was one of the most respected figures in Korean entertainment. For years, fans had paired him with various actresses, but never had his name been linked seriously with Soo-jung, until now. When the two names appeared side by side on trending charts, the reaction was explosive. Destiny has reunited them, one fan wrote. The most elegant couple in Korea, another declared. Their chemistry in the 2010 romantic film Finding Mr. Destiny had once melted hearts. Now, 14 years later, that fictional love had become a living reality. 4. A reunion written by fate. Industry insiders later revealed the full story, a tale that felt more like a screenplay than real life. Soo-jung and Gong Yoo had first met on the set of Finding Mr. Destiny, where they portrayed two people searching for love and rediscovering each other after years apart. Their on-screen connection was so natural that audiences joked, they must have really fallen in love. But back then, both were at the peak of their careers. Their schedules were full, their lives driven by work. Any feelings, if they existed, were buried beneath professionalism and time. They went their separate ways, each continuing to build legendary careers. Fast forward to winter 2024. At a small industry gathering in Seoul, they met again, unexpectedly, quietly. Witnesses said the atmosphere was instantly warm, almost nostalgic. They talked about films, art, and the changes in life after 40. There was laughter, gentle teasing, and a comfort that felt timeless. One producer who was present later shared. It was like time had rewound itself. They talked as if they'd just wrapped up filming yesterday. That evening marked the beginning of something new, not a fiery, youthful romance, but a deep, mature bond built on understanding and shared solitude. 5. A love that grew in silence. For months, the two kept their relationship completely private. No paparazzi photos, no sightings, no leaks, only subtle hints that, in hindsight, feel obvious. Gong Yoo had once mentioned in an interview, "Love, when it comes, should be something you protect quietly." And that's exactly what they did. A friend close to the couple revealed. They were cautious, not because they were ashamed, but because they wanted to protect what was real. For them, love wasn't about proving anything, it was about peace. In her letter, Soo-jung reflected the same sentiment. "I've dedicated my youth entirely to my work. Now, I finally want to cherish another person with my whole heart." And Gong Yoo, in a short message posted later, wrote, "We are finally living in the same time." Those few words, simple yet profound, struck a chord across the nation. It felt like a quiet declaration of love from a man who had waited years for the right moment. 6. The wedding plan, elegant and intimate. As reporters dug deeper, details of the upcoming ceremony began to surface. The wedding would take place in December, at a private art museum in central Seoul. Only 50 guests were invited, family members, lifelong friends, and a few trusted colleagues from the film industry. There would be no media access, no public coverage, no sponsorships, a decision that perfectly reflected their personalities. According to insiders, Soo-jung herself oversaw every detail. She personally worked with a designer to create a timeless white gown, not glamorous, but serene, pure, and beyond fashion. She wanted something that symbolized eternity. One designer shared. Her theme was a purity that transcends time. Gong Yoo, known for his understated elegance, would wear a custom-tailored tuxedo from a Hong Kong designer he'd worked with for years. The overall concept of the wedding, insiders said, would be quiet beauty. Instead of flowers and chandeliers, there would be soft lighting, minimalist decor, and the sound of live strings echoing gently through the museum halls. It wouldn't be a spectacle, it would be a moment. 7. The internet reacts, a silent miracle. As word spread, social media went into a frenzy, not of scandal, but of joy. Fans called it the silent miracle, a story that felt more cinematic than any K-drama. This isn't just a wedding, it's destiny fulfilled. They waited years for this moment. True love doesn't need noise. This is proof. Even fellow celebrities joined in the chorus of congratulations. One actress wrote on her Instagram story, "This is the kind of love we all hope to find, calm, mature, and real." Major Korean media outlets hailed it as the fairy tale ending of two legends. Unlike the usual sensational celebrity romances, this one felt grounded, rooted in time, patience, and grace. 8. Expert and industry reflections. Film critics and cultural commentators also weighed in, interpreting the marriage as more than just personal news, but as a symbolic cultural moment. Veteran critic Lee Hyun-woo wrote in a column, "This isn't a celebrity headline, it's the closing chapter of a long, beautiful story." Both actors built their careers on authenticity. Now, they've brought that same sincerity into love. Another entertainment journalist remarked, "It's poetic justice. Two actors who once portrayed destiny on screen are now living it off-screen." To many, their union represented a mature kind of romance, one that grows not from passion alone, but from understanding, the kind of love that remains steady after fame, time, and loneliness. 9. The deeper meaning behind their marriage. In a world obsessed with speed, of fame, of success, of love, the story of Soo-jung and Gong Yoo stood as a quiet rebellion. It wasn't a fairy tale of youth, but a celebration of patience and peace. Soo-jung, who had once said in a 2018 interview, "Marriage is not a race. It should happen when your heart truly wants it," had lived by her words. At 46, she wasn't chasing expectations or image. She was simply following her truth. For her fans, it became a powerful symbol that it's never too late to find love, and that solitude can eventually lead to serenity. Gong Yoo, too, represented something profound. A man who had spent years building an impeccable career, now choosing to prioritize quiet happiness over spotlight. Together, they embodied the phrase fans began using online. The wedding of time. It was more than just a marriage. It was two lives finally aligning after years of parallel paths. 10. The epilogue. This love came late, but it's real. As the public continued to celebrate, one final image spread across social media. The handwritten letter again, ending with a line that captured the nation's heart. This love came late, but it's real. Those words became headlines, quotes, and even hashtags. They encapsulated the beauty of a love that waited, that matured quietly, that defied time. For many, it felt like witnessing the ending of a long, beautiful film, not one filled with drama and chaos, but with closure and calm. Their love story reminded the world that sometimes the most extraordinary romances are the quietest ones, the kind that unfold away from the cameras, protected by trust and sealed with time. A final reflection. As December approaches, all eyes are on Seoul. Not for a grand spectacle, but for a ceremony that will likely never be televised, and that's exactly what makes it so powerful. In an industry that thrives on noise, Soo-jung and Gong Yoo chose silence. In a culture obsessed with youth, they chose maturity. And in a world that measures love by its visibility, they chose depth. Their story isn't about fame or fantasy, it's about timing, fate, and courage. The courage to love again, to start anew, and to live truthfully, even when the world is watching. As one fan poignantly wrote online, "Some love stories are made for movies. But this one is real."